Hank Greenberg and Hank Aaron share the nickname Hammer and Hank, but in this video we're going to be talking about the Hammer and Hank that played for the Detroit Tigers. In this video I am going to be talking about Greenberg's ranks in Tigers history. I'll be breaking down his MVP seasons a little bit, and I'll also be breaking down his World Series performances. Starting off with Greenberg's ranks in the history of the Detroit Tigers, his .616 slugging average is first, his .412 on-base percentage is top 4, his 1.028 OPS is first, and his .319 batting average is 8th. His 1,528 hits are 13th, his 306 home runs are 4th, his 1,200 RBI are 6th, and his 2,950 total bases are 10th. In terms of some notable single seasons that Greenberg had, his .683 slugging average in 1938 is first in Tigers history. His 1.122 OPS in 1938 also is second in Tigers history. His 58 home runs in 1938 were first in Tigers history. His 397 total bases in 1937 were first, and his 184 RBI in 1937 were first. All of this production was able to help Greenberg get onto 5 All-Star teams, win 2 MVPs, and win 2 World Series. Now, in terms of some notable season types and game types from Greenberg, all of these rankings are in terms of Tigers history. His 8 seasons of having a .600 or better slugging percentage are first. His 9 seasons with a .400 or better on-base percentage are third. His 7 seasons with a .1,000 or better OPS are second. His 6 seasons with 120 or more RBI are first. His 4 seasons with 40 or more home runs are first, and his 6 seasons with 100 or more runs, 100 or more hits, and 100 or more RBI are second. Greenberg's 32 games with 2 or more home runs are first in the history of the Detroit Tigers. His 461 games with a hit, an RBI, and a run are 8th. His 17 games with 5 or more RBI are second, and his 10 games with 10 or more total bases are top 3 in Tigers history. Now, I should note that with this slide and the prior slide, Greenberg was out of baseball from 1942 to 1944 for military service. I guess I'm bringing that up because Greenberg's totals and rankings may or may not have been even higher. Greenberg was a 2-time MVP, as I mentioned earlier, and on this slide I have what his MVP production looked like. If the stat is in bold, then that means Greenberg led his respective league, in this case the American League, in that particular category. And in some of these cases he led both the AL and NL. In 1935, Greenberg was able to lead the Tigers to the best record in the American League with a 93-58 record. He had 120 runs, 203 hits, and then he was able to lead the American League and baseball as a whole in home runs with 36, RBI with 168, and total bases with 389. He also had a .328 batting average, a .411 on-base percentage, a .628 slugging average, and a 1.039 OPS. Then in 1940, Greenberg again was able to lead the Tigers to the best record in the American League with a 90-64 record. Greenberg had 129 runs, 195 hits, and then he was able to lead the American League in home runs with 41. And then he was able to lead all of baseball with 150 RBI and 384 total bases. He also had a .340 batting average, a .433 on-base percentage, a .670 slugging percentage, and then a 1.103 OPS. The .670 slugging average and the 1.103 OPS led both the AL and the NL. During the Hank Greenberg era, the Tigers went 2-2 in their World Series appearances, and Greenberg played exceptional during these World Series. In 1934, the Tigers lost to the Cardinals in 7. During that World Series, Greenberg's 4 runs were third on the Tigers, his 9 hits were second on the Tigers, he had 1 home run, and he was one of 2 Tigers to have a home run in that series. His 7 RBI led the Tigers, his .321 batting average was second on the Tigers, and his .571 slugging average led the Tigers. Now with the batting averages for all of these World Series and also for the slugging, I threw out players that had only 1 or 2 at-bats or only 1 or 2 plate appearances. So in some of these instances, Greenberg wasn't actually first, but I added qualifiers and minimum plate appearances. In 1935, Greenberg missed most of that series due to a broken wrist, but in the games that he played, he had 1 run, 1 hit, 1 home run, 2 RBI, and a 167 batting average. In 1940, the Tigers lost to the Reds in 7 games. In that series, Greenberg had 5 runs, which was top 2 on the Tigers. His 10 hits led the Tigers. Greenberg was one of 4 Tigers to have a home run. His 6 RBI led the Tigers. His 357 batting average was second on the Tigers. And his 607 slugging average was also second on the Tigers. And then in 1945, when Greenberg returned from military service, the Tigers defeated the Cubs in 7 games. Greenberg was a very key contributor in that series. His 7 runs were top 2 on the Tigers. His 7 hits were top 3. His 2 home runs were first on the Tigers. His 7 RBI were also first on the Tigers. His 304 batting average was second on the Tigers. And his 696 slugging average was first on the Tigers. So Hank Greenberg was, of course, a great baseball player. That's probably not exactly breaking news, but hopefully I was able to provide a little bit of information about Greenberg that you may or may not have known before. Well, that will be all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.